Football is awesome. How you guys doing? I'm host Ernest and Zack coming to you as we enter Week 10 NFL football season. I'm going to keep this brief here because I've got a very good show today. Of course, our usual three guys on the show: Mikey B, the Squid, with the power rankings, Power 10, Power 5. We have, of course, Zach, the Degenerate, on the back end of the show, doing our picks of the week. Which you'll find out who won this week. I did. I won finally. I won big. And then, of course, Kyle Nash, doing the game. We're going to do a midterms, NFL midterms, this each team, give them letter grades so far, how they're doing. But let's get this brief real quick. It was a strange week in the NFL. Mainly all the top teams lost this week. Dallas, Buffalo, who else? Dallas, Buffalo, Green Bay, but Green Bay had the best loss of the bunch, because they didn't have Aaron Rodgers. Of course, that's a whole other subject we'll get into later on in the show. I don't want anyone to dive in that. Why lie about not getting vaccinated? But that's all those discussion. But I just think right now with each top team is allowed one anomaly a year, maybe even two. The Rams lost to Tennessee. Tennessee all of a sudden, while Derrick Henry, at least for 1 week, I mean, they're still showing they're a force to be reckoned with, you'll see my power rankings. But it's been a strange week 9. It's a strange week 9. It's why we love football. There's a lot of football left to play. Football is awesome, of course, as the theme of this podcast is. So, I think really right now, we look at these teams, these top teams that lost, I don't think anything really changes really in the broader conversation. I do think the AFC is interesting now because I think for the first time now this year there is no clear-cut best team in the conference. Tennessee is the best record, but no Derrick Henry could be a problem later on in the year. Can sustain this. Buffalo is still pretty good, but do they have any quality wins under the belt to prove that? I mean, they won the games they need to win the way they're supposed to, but you lose to Jacksonville 9-6 and whatnot. That's not like a look either. Baltimore is obviously Lamar Jackson to me is the MVP, but he sustained that also with all the injuries he sustained. Not him, but the team around him. Kansas City looks god awful. I mean, they're 5-4, but they don't look the same. Obviously, Cincinnati's falling back to earth. So I mean, New England's starting to catch on right now, but I mean they're not a top tier team just yet, but they're catching on. So it's a fascinating time of the year because AFC we thought we had a couple teams that run away with it, and now things have you can make an argument right now that the entire conference from 1 through 7, when we talk about playoff spots, is wide open because there's no clear-cut best team right now. There's no clear-cut wildcard teams right now. Teams that were struggling have stopped leading this week. Teams that were surging off the gate, Chargers and Bengals, now all of a sudden are back to earth. Meanwhile, the NFC is just same old. All the division winners are running away with it. I mean, Dallas lost to Denver, but they're going to the East. Green Bay lost to the Chiefs, but they're going to win North. And the best loss of the week. In fact, you'll see my power rankings where I put them. The Bucs, of course, won a bye week, but they're going to be fine. And then the winner of the loser of the Rams and the Cardinals, obviously in the West, will at least get the wild card. And then the Saints, and then look at the wildcard situation, the Saints are, they're still kind of, they don't have any quarterbacks. So it's a strange start of the year. So I want to keep this cool up and short and get to the guys because we got a lot of content to get into and lots of stuff what we talk about. So here's Mike first, then Kyle with our other grades of the year, and then, of course, Zach, the Degenerate, to close out the show. So enjoy the episode, guys. All right. Football is awesome. The Squid, Mikey B. This is the strangest week of football I think we've seen in a long time.
My head hurt.
Dude, my head's still hurting.
Buddy, be a Bengals fan. We just lost by 37 to a team.
Yeah, that was
fights than fucking people before a wedding day.
That was bad. Easily worst loss of the year, of course. Especially losing to a divisional opponent.
No, the worst loss of the year was last week's Jets. We should have won that game. That was a game that you should have blown the Jets out 99 times out of 100 with Mike White.
Right, I should say, but the thing is, his thing though. If you bounce back and win this game this week, it's kind of sort of forgotten.
Yes and no. I mean, it's frustrating because we've beaten some really good teams and we've stayed in the game with some good teams. But I mean, the Bears loss is frustrating because they're fucking Bears.
Yes.
Losing to the Jets. So Cleveland's we always us and Cleveland always play close.
Mm-hmm.
Like we split with them, so it's like, okay, now we have to go to Cleveland and beat them to get the win back. So it's not the worst, but it's like it's definitely frustrating the way that they played. But it's also frustrating because, again, the point proven of Joe Burrow needs an offensive line just became very apparent because, 3 balls get deflected, they get picked off. He's getting pressured all day.
One of those things also is it's too much too soon for the Bengals. Like the first couple of weeks, obviously you're out the gate, like, oh my God, this could be a team that could.
Oh yeah, because they had a realistic shot of being 7-0,
right,
and now the wheels are falling off.
Right. It goes back to what we were saying like before the year started. Like, okay, so which team is real? I mean, obviously they're better than we thought they were, but do we believe they were that good? That's the question.
Before the season started, I said if they won 8 games, I would be ecstatic.
Of course.
We're still a year away.
Right. So they've still arrived, but maybe like I said, let's say the year goes. Obviously, with that, I am scared to reveal this list because this is by far the hardest list to do of the year.
Yeah.
And I think you also said the same thing too in text. But it is what it is now. Like I said, this is the strangest week of the year by far. Lots of good teams went down. A bunch of good teams went down. Okay, let's not wait any longer. Let's just fucking reveal the top 10, bottom 5. Here we go. Number 10. Who'd you reveal number 10?
Mac who? Mac Jones. Give me the New England Patriots.
Wow.
That defense is one of the best defenses in football.
Yeah. I also had a Patriots number 10.
And that's why they're number 10, because I had the Steelers kind of like, okay, if the Steelers come out and do their job and decimate the Bears, I think I have to put the Steelers at 10.
Correct.
They were way too sloppy last night and barely got out of there with a win. That's why I'm putting the Patriots and Mac Jones at 10.
They're only getting better. I have number 10 as well, too. And they're only getting better because of and let's not forget, too, also, they're literally like 2 plays of being 7-2, maybe, and maybe 8-1. Dallas game, Miami game, the donk on the against the Buccaneers. They get easily 8-1. Actually, if you think about it, 3 plays. Well, it's 8-1. But number 10 Patriots also too. They're defensively getting better. They beat Chargers last week. You go in Carolina and beat them out pretty well. I mean, they're starting to figure it out now. I'm not. Are they a Super Bowl team? I'm not going there just yet. But the AFC looks kind of weird too. So if you made a case going forward, you can sell it to me.
I agree, especially with that defense.
Exactly. Number 9.
For the first time since week number 6, give me the winners of round 1 of the Battle of Ohio, the Odell Beckham-less Cleveland Browns.
I prefer to put him in the list too because I realized that not having all the drama aside with his dad and obviously him wanting to get out of there, we acknowledged, I think, even as far as last year, that this might not be a good fit in general.
No.
Football-wise, that's all. He could be a great guy. Not a good fit just because of the football.
Correct.
But number 9 for me, they came back. Not the most impressive one of the year, but it is what it is at this point. The L.A. Chargers.
I get behind that one.
I saw your face. I think you had I think you probably had another team coming in the top 10. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think the Chargers is a good one. There was just parts of that game where they took steps back.
Mm-hmm.
They keep their ass and they literally blow the Eagles out. It's over.
I think like the Bengals though too, they're at a point now where I think they're coming back to earth a little bit now to what they really are right now. They're not as good as we thought they were. Sorry, Denny Green. It is what it is.
But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
But seriously, I think that they're a good team, playoff contender. But I think after the first couple weeks of the year, I think we're seeing that they're not really that great just yet. Give it some time.
I agree.
Number 8.
I had this team as high as number 3 in my power rankings so far this season. And for some reason, they could not figure it out in sunny Jacksonville. Give me the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad.
I mean, it wasn't good. 6 points, no offensive touchdowns. I mean, it was pretty bad.
I almost would have rather them getting blown out, honestly.
Yeah, I would have rather Jacksonville just put up like 30.
Yeah, and it's like, it's a bad game.
They're like, oh yeah, they turnovers. They made a couple mistakes here. They're like, make it actually like work. No, we're just gonna.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Like, because you get blown out, like, I had a bad day. We just showed up, we hungover or whatever. Like, we can make an excuse. 9-6 loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he couldn't find a way to win that game. That's troublesome to me.
Yeah.
Number 8 for me, this team actually went down one spot. I'm kind of regret now. I don't know. What it is. Baltimore Ravens. Yeah. Because again, the top 7-6 teams, it's hard to make movement here. But
how do they win a game that they were trailing by 17, show heart, come back and win, and they fall a spot?
Because now this is going to sell my argument that this is why Lamar's MVP, more or less. But at some point, you start playing better teams, they're not going to be able to crack the code. That's why I had Kyle on the show last week, and he was like, "They're a Super Bowl contender." No, they're not, because the way Lamar reliant, and at some point it's going to bite you in the ass against a team that actually matters.
I mean, you can't have a quarterback playing running back because all your running backs aren't in your reserve.
Right, but they're still a good team. I'm not saying I'm not knocking them. It's not really a knock. I mean, it's the teams on top of the list right now are just much better than they are right now. I mean, they've gotten lucky a lot this year too. So, but they're still a good team though. But a Super Bowl contender, It could be a default move at this point now because the AFC is starting to weird out a little bit. It's really weird. Really. Yeah. Buffalo, come on. What the fuck are you guys doing? Anyway, number 7.
No Derrick Henry, no problems. It's turn back the clock day in Tennessee. It's Adrian Peterson gets a touchdown. Give me the Titans at 7.
I mean, I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming on Sunday night.
No chance.
That's just crazy. And because they got love for me as well this week too. Which again in a second. Number 7, I had to ding them this week. The Buffalo Bills. We just mentioned it. It's you can't. Like I said, I'll say it again. I'd much rather you just get blown out in Jacksonville. Honestly, just don't show up. Plead the fifth and keep moving. Burn tape.
Yep.
And you have to wonder now too. They're a good team. They're a Super Bowl contender, I will say, because last year they were a game away. But where are the quality wins this year?
I mean, they're beating who they're scheduled.
Right. And they're beating nobody supposed to, for the most part.
They haven't really played many top-flight teams. I think the biggest thing when you look at this is Devin Singletary and Zach Moss are not good enough running backs to win a Super Bowl.
Right.
Josh Allen, great quarterback. Stephon Diggs, great wide receiver. The loss of Dawson Knox, who's been, Josh Allen's security blanket through the 6 weeks, hurts. He's supposed to be back this week or next week.
Yeah.
So maybe slow right ship and gets the offensive going again. But it's literally this team where it's like, oh, a running back is going to become available in the draft. Like, it's time to go get a number 1 running back.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. All right, number 6.
Cue up Jimmy. How about them Cowboys?
Oh, numbers. No, that. Where were they last week?
I had them at 3 last week.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
So I need a delay.
I had them at 3 last week, and the reason why they fell so far is even though the game looked close on paper,
it was never close.
Denver led that game from opening kickoff to fucking final whistle and beat them on all 3 aspects of the game: offense, defense, and special teams. There was nothing that Dallas did against Denver to look good.
I had Denver plus 10 on the on my picks. Me and Zach. Didn't think they'd fucking win the game though. I didn't see that coming. But damn. Number 6 for me. Gotta give them credit. They were in my top 10, but right now they're the best record in the AFC. The Tennessee Titans. We forget that they have the best record in the AFC right now. Nobody's talking about this right now.
Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill at quarterback, and A.J. Brown being fucking pedestrian, and they're the best record in the fucking the
No, right. And again, they were not my top 10 for that reason, because like at some point, but you go to L.A., beat the Rams, what you do, without your best player, we have to, dude, at some point, the results are the results. We're now 9 weeks of this fucking thing.
I've had the Titans in my top 10 since week 7.
They were out, they made what, appearance like once or twice this year of mine? If that.
They started week 1, and then I didn't have them in week 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, and they got back in week 7.
Yeah. Gotta give them credit due. They've done a fantastic job out the gate without Derrick Henry. Now, could it sustain this? Let's see. But so far, so good. That's all I can say.
It probably helps with the only game in their division that's tough is Indianapolis coming up because Houston's a fucking cakewalk and Jacksonville's Jacksonville.
Right. They're going to have at least 10 plus wins this year. Easily. Maybe 11. Guaranteed. All right, number 5.
Give me Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens.
So, sell me on the Baltimore Ravens as a Super Bowl contender.
Their ability to, no matter where they're at in a game, they're not out of it is a plus. Their defense has been really, really good. They're getting contributions from Rashad Bateman. They're getting contributions from Hollywood Brown.
Uh-huh.
The thing that gives them an edge, it doesn't matter who has the football. Everybody in that offense is explosive and can make somebody miss. Now, am I scared of any of their running backs? No. But sometimes you don't have to be scared of the running backs for the running backs to be effective.
Right.
You just have to have offensive line play, get the ball to guys that can make plays. You know what's as effective as a 6-yard run, a 6-yard screen pass to Hollywood Brown that he could break out? I mean, it's you don't need 150 rushing attempts to win in the NFL anymore. You don't.
No.
You also, there are teams that have proven, all of the Buffalo Bills, you don't need a star-studded running back like Dalvin Cook to win games in the NFL. You need guys that will run between the tackles, will follow your scheme, won't drop passes whenever they get passed out of the backfield. That's the NFL style right now. And if Lamar tucks in and runs it 40 times and runs for 125 yards, then we're power.
Right. My number 5.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah.
Big thing. I mean, they were number 2 on the list last week. So, yeah. It made me look bad, too, the process, because I was talking them up last week on social media, and I got shit for it. And then, people came at me and like, see, I told you so. I'm like,
yeah.
Get it. This is one of those, that game one of those, like, you know what? Screw the tape, just burn it. Burn we didn't play well, we didn't show up.
This loss is what Buffalo would have been better doing against Jacksonville.
Bingo.
Get that one loss where you just don't show up out of the fucking way.
Right. Burn the tapes. We'll see you next week. That's it. Bottom line. So, number 5. Number 4, what do you got?
I got a bye week move up. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, by default. And Brady and company. He's probably happy as hell. Number 4 for me, the LA Rams. It's a bad loss. Against a Tennessee team that's banged up. The best player not playing. And you not only you lose, you lose in that fashion. Ooh, that was bad. Do I believe this team going forward still? I'm not ready to rule them out as a super contender, but, sometimes, you get a ball into a year. Let's hope it's not more than 2 for them. But for the time being, yeah, it's a bad loss. All right, number 3.
Give me the Aaron Rodgers-less Green Bay Packers.
I got something for you in a second on that one, but yeah. Weird game.
That game proved the fact that your comment about Lamar Jackson being the MVP, that game proved why Aaron Rodgers should be the front runner of the MVP.
Maybe.
That offense does not do anything without him at fucking quarterback.
Yeah, Jordan Love ain't that good. Let's put it that way. He ain't ready. He ain't ready for that. He ain't ready for that life just yet.
No.
3 for me, bye week as well. Buccaneers. And I want to go ahead and review my number 2 real quick. Who's worked for? They went up this week. The Packers moved up despite loss because they have the best loss of these bunches. 13-7 to the Chiefs. To the Chiefs? I mean, no, the Chiefs aren't that good. And by the way, they're not in the top 10. I guess you've noticed that. They didn't make it this week. But that of all the teams that lost in the top 5 or 6, they had the best loss.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
They moved a spot. Unbelievable. Who's number 2?
Number 2, I have Los Angeles Rams. Not a great loss. A loss that you can rebound from. It's a learning thing. You can see that they were doing a lot of things right. The problem is the back-to-back Matt Stafford interceptions. The first one trying to do too much, trying to, quote, not take a safety, even though he was clearly stopped at the half-yard line.
Right.
Safety, and then the next pass is a pick 6. Literally 2 points downs in 20 seconds for Tennessee is what really put this game out of reach for Los Angeles. I'm not as worried about the loss as others are because, again, you take those 14 points off the board, a little bit different of a ball game. They didn't play with Von Miller, who they just traded for, so they're going to get him. Obviously, Aaron Donald's doing his thing. Jalen Ramsey shutting down people. If the Rams aren't the favorite in the NFC right now, they're second or third behind maybe Arizona and Tampa Bay. But these three teams are probably the class of the NFC, with Green Bay being in fourth and Dallas being that 5 that could get sneaky depending on who they get paired up with. But I'm not as panic buttoned on the Rams as others are coming out of week number 9.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I actually agree with you 100% what you said there. Number 1 for us, I'm sure we have number 1. It's number 1, right?
Arizona Cardinals.
You got it.
No Kyler, no problem. Arizona in week number 9. Colt McCoy was a absolute game manager. Up out of week 9. Chase Edmonds for a couple weeks due to an ankle injury or a hamstring, I think.
I'm not sure exactly. What's up, buddy? What's wrong? Want to come and do it? Power Rankings, Dad? Come on.
I'm happy about
Power Rankings? Okay. What's wrong? Any Power Rankings, Daddy? Go ahead. Sorry.
Again, Arizona, the biggest problem coming out of it is they lost Chase Edmonds for a couple weeks, but they got whatever out of Benjamin. They obviously have James Conner, who turned back the clocks.
Mm-hmm.
Way to move up 4 spots after dropping 3 spots.
You lose your quarterback, who's an MVP candidate. You played the divisional opponent, who, while not good this year, is still pretty tough.
Oh, and you didn't have DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, and you not just beat them, you dominate them. Yeah, you deserve respect. And you bounce back from a loss.
I agree.
That's a big loss. Okay, let's go to the sad 5 real quick before this kid loses his shit. So, real quick, 28-32. Let's get it started. Hold on, I can't my list here. Sorry, my list. Okay, 28. Who you got?
JETS suck.
I did it this week. Despite bye week, they went down. The Washington football team. 29.
The Washington football team.
JETS sucks. 30.
Dolphins.
Dolphins as well. 31.
Texans.
Texans as well. 32.
Lions.
Duh. I mean, you don't win a game at 9 weeks into the year. I mean, at some point, it is what it is, you know? So, anyway, we're going to miss you this week on Take 3, I think.
We are. I'm actually going to do something. I'm going to actually send you guys my list for my wrestlers. I'm going to solo AEW Full Gear preview.
Okay.
Friday morning and send it to you so you can put it up as a daily.
The Mike version.
Because you guys will be talking about it on the show. So
yeah.
I'm gonna do a daily 15 of my preview of Full Gear, which includes my take on will they pull the trigger on Adam Page being the world champion.
Ooh, yeah. I feel like you're getting FOMO this week. Hey, Mike, let me go put this kid down. Want to sleep.
Right.
Okay? All right. Studio report. Kyle Nash. We literally just finished recording a podcast with our good friends Big Jim and Matthew Muleason on the Huddle Up podcast, and now we're going to record our studio report here tonight. Simple show today. 2 topics: midterm grades, college football playoff reaction, rankings reaction.
Oh, and no section about why EJ was so wrong about the Cowboys.
We can hit that up on the Cowboys segment if we want to.
No, we don't need a whole other segment. We're going over.
It's pretty fucking bad. Like my thing was like you guys can give me like 2 weeks, and then say it was wrong. 5 days? Like really?
Well, okay. So because here's the reason why I couldn't let you slack. I couldn't. I'm not prepared to speak for Matt and Jim. I even gave you on this show last week a nice little walkthrough and like the superhero origin story analogy.
Yeah, I remember that.
What the Cowboys have done. And then they didn't win the boss fight. Actually, it's not like they just didn't win the boss fight. Like, Batman, what you just did was produce a situation where Zaz beats Batman. Do you understand?
Right.
Okay? Where some henchman, like one of the henchmen in the video games kills Batman in this scenario, and you had already declared him beating, well, not the Joker, but competing with the Joker, like setting up for the Killing Joke. There you go.
Right. Well, I guess what you're saying is this.
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue with Denny Green. What do you want me to tell you?
I'm not doing that. Rest in peace for Denny Green, of course. All right, so we are at the halfway point of the season, I believe, or at least we were last week, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter. So, of course, you're the student of the game. I'm going to go ahead and this is about you here. This is your platform here to teach us here. So we're going to go through all 32 teams in the league right now at that point and give them a letter grade as we are now entering week 10 of the year. So let's go. We're going to go in alphabetical order from A through W, I guess, Washington last team on the list. So, let's start first with the Arizona Cardinals, who are 7-1.
Listen, folks, I know that they haven't been where you want them to be, but where so many people had them missing the playoffs, EJ Christian and I, even though he did it by copying my paper, all tried to tell you that this team was legitimate. If you give this team anything less than an A, you're just wrong. I mean, like, I don't know that they'll stay that way. What with Kyler Murray getting a bit dinged up here and there, that's a problem. But for now, you certainly have to give them an A. They certainly did enough to pass their midterms. The thing is, can they find their folder and their study notes to finish the season and do well in final exams?
Oh, he did that. Study notes. This is a dork. No,
I'm the student of the game. I've been doing academic analogies for how many years, buddy? Come on.
Yeah, I'm with you. A plus, honestly. I mean, they've overshot the. I mean, I thought it'd be a playoff team. My team being this good.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Same with me. Right.
And they got quality wins too. To beat the Titans, in Tennessee, beat the Rams in LA.
I was about to say they have more quality wins than the Titans, but okay.
No, I'm saying they beat the Titans. So, I mean, they have quality wins to justify where they're at. Definitely an A. All right, next team here, the Atlanta Falcons, 4-4, somehow, some way.
I'm going to give them a C, but I'm going to watch them closely because I'm pretty sure they cheated off somebody's paper to get the grade that they got. Either that or they guessed. I can't tell exactly. But, I mean, if you had them winning 4 games, because I'll tell you what, Earnest Question at this point, I didn't. So,
yeah.
Them beating the Saints was also surprising in itself. Granted, Trevor Siemian starting at quarterback has probably just a little to do with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not going to take somebody else giving a wrong answer on a test as an excuse to penalize a team. And even though, again, them being fraudulent as they've been, I'm going to look at their paper really close. But at the end of the day, EJ Christian, I'm going to put them at a C.
I'm with you too. C plus. I've heard give them a B minus because say what you want. They are. I mean, they're 4-4. They for dead. But C's right there.
Hold on, pump them brakes, kiddo. Okay, a loss to Sam Darnold, who apparently everybody hates now, and the WTF. I'm sorry, the WFT, better known as the Red Tails on this show. Just saying.
No, C's accurate. I considered it. It's like, wait, it's like, no. Let's slow down. C is where it should be for the Falcons. They're lucky to be where they're at now, honestly. All right, the Baltimore Ravens. They are, I believe, 6-3. Well, 7-3. Let me see the record.
No, right, yeah, and I'll tell you this much about Baltimore, and we've had the conversation about how.
6-2. I apologize.
Say again.
6-2. I apologize. 6-2.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I to be honest, you were setting me up. I didn't hear exactly what you said anyway. It's okay. I mean, listen, buddy, for me at day's end with this, I'm kind of in that position. Like they've had, I mean, their schedule we knew wasn't going to be simple, and it's turned out to be just a little bit harder than we would have thought it was, right? I mean, yeah, sure, this is the team I picked to win the Super Bowl. And this is a team that has my predicted MVP on it, no question. Okay, but are they? First of all, like at 6-2, they're meeting expectations, right? Mm-hmm. Granted, I did not expect them to lose to the Raiders in the first week. People were all like, "Oh my God, that's bad." Then they beat the Chiefs and they barely snuck by the Lions. Oh my God, that's bad. Then they dominated the Broncos to expose them, going all Janet Jackson halftime show. And they crushed the Chargers only to get harshly spanked by the Bengals. I could see somebody going after this team But considering injuries, they have basically a no running backs that they started with, and no over the top threat because the rookie they drafted for got hurt, right? I'm not going to go homer with my predictions and say that they too have an A, but I'm definitely going to put them at a B. The big games, like I absolutely, the reason why I'm giving them a B is what happened with them and the Bengals. And I'll say B plus to be fair, because 6-2 is a good record.
No, I'm with you. I'll give you plus here too. Also, I think look at where we were the week before the season started.
Yeah,
lose Peters, lose every running back on that roster. We're thinking, okay, this team is going from a contender to like, are they even a playoff team at this point?
Right.
So the fact that they're first place right now in their division, in a good division right now by virtue of records, and they're actually in the mix for a number one seed in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and their situation right now is why Lamar Jackson is my MVP leader.
Mm-hmm.
So 100%. All right, next team here, the Buffalo Bills, 5-3.
There's too many situations where I find myself saying, "Oh no, Buffalo," and I'm not just talking about this past weekend, right? They opened the season losing to the Steelers based on some special teams mishaps, so to speak. They found a way to blow it to the Titans, which I still can't account for. Sure, they beat the Chiefs, but that didn't mean now what it did then, right? The Bills have done what they're supposed to do, but the games they're supposed to win, they are dominating. I think the only reason why I'm not giving them a B minus is honestly what happened this past weekend, right? They kind of backed themselves into the midterm section. They got a C, and they have plenty of opportunity to raise it. I don't think there's a way that they play themselves out of Super Bowl contention. I don't penalize them too much because their schedule, I could argue, gets significantly harder in the back half, right? Featuring games against the Colts who aren't necessarily that difficult. The Patriots, who are twice, who have Bill Belichick, so if they have weaknesses to be exploited, they'll be exploited. And the Bucs are on the schedule too. If they can get through that and some of the less good teams like the Falcons and the Jets, then, well, yeah, we'll see them in the playoffs high. But I'm going to go C.
I totally agree with you on that one. But speaking of second half of the year, the wins they've had, they won the way you're supposed to. A couple concerning losses, especially this one against the Jaguars this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting now with the Patriots now only half a game behind. So all of a sudden it's become a race. Buffalo went from being a lock in the AFC East, which I would probably still say they're going to win the division. But the Pats are playing some good football. So we'll see how that turns out in the second half of the year. All right, next team here we have the 4-5 Carolina Panthers.
They were pretending a while there earlier, but on this show, you had me on record when they played the Cowboys was the test. They did not do well. They're doing good on homework, EJ, but they're not doing good at test time. Okay. Right. And then they started slacking off their homework because they were demoralized, and then the Giants gave them a wake-up call, making them realize that homework was important. And so they beat the Falcons and then had a tough time in another test against Bill Belichick and the Patriots. I mean, that's what happens. And, oh, by the way, the back half of their schedule, not doing them any favors. Both Buccaneers games are in the back half. The Cardinals are their opponent this weekend. And the Bills somewhere in there, too, as well in December, I might add, I believe. Yeah, and that's in Buffalo. So because if they find a way to improve, I want to give them an opportunity to get a better grade. I'm going to put them at a C. Yeah, at a C, because I'll put it this way. The back half of the schedule gives them an opportunity to improve. But yeah, you need to study up here, Panthers. And by the way, people calling for Cam Newton to get a job there, stop it. His arm is shot. His arm's been shot. Stop it.
I gotta be honest with you. I'm going to go B for one reason only. One reason only. They're at pace what we thought they'd be this year. Frisky team can't quite get over the hump, but they were a 7.5 win win-loss projection. So they're on that pace to win 7-8 games. So technically they're on the pace where they should be.
with the easy part of the schedule, right? Let's reiterate that, okay?
Yeah.
So that's why I said C. C is you're exactly on pace. They're not outperforming anything.
Well, we'll see what happens second half of the year, obviously. All right,
Sure.
Next team here, the 3-6 Chicago Bears.
You know, if expectations, EJ, are truly a part of your evaluation, is there a way you can actually penalize the Bears based on that going into this? I mean, heck, they beat the Bengals, which is impressive on here. They beat the Raiders, another impressive win, and they're constantly improving. 3 out of their past 4 weeks were against tough teams, right? And here's the gauntlet: Packers, Bucks, Niners, Steelers. And as weaker teams go, the Niners, not all that bad. With, by the way, since I believe week 3, a rookie quarterback in Justin Fields. Listen, I think I'll put it this way. I don't know if I had them winning 3 games all year, and Justin Fields has done some stuff. So the back half of the season, you got some tough games. The Packers, again, is the oldest rivalry in the NFL, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to put C here. I'm not going to be in any position to thrash them because they are outperforming, but they still got to show me more to be worthy of an A, right?
Yeah. Matt Nagy, is he done, you think? Or where are you on the Nagy thing now?
Matt Nagy, it's too soon to call that, actually. If Matt Nagy goes, you can't go 500 anymore. I hate that. But
Me too.
If Matt Nagy actually gets this club to 8 wins, not only should he keep his job, he should be a coach of the damn year candidate. Okay? Let's put that in perspective.
Alrighty. Let's go next team here. The 5-4 Cincinnati Bengals.
The Bengals. Oh my gosh. Like, the only reason they're not getting an A is because they started resting on their laurels and slacking off on their studies leading into the test, and then they bombed it, right? But see, that's the thing. You can have a high enough grade sometimes where you have an A, get an F somewhere, and still get a plenty high mark. I have the Bengals at this point at a B+. And simply the only reason they're not at an A is because of if they played the Browns close, I might have given them an A-. They did not. And that's a game that they'll have to play again for the last week of the season. Could be a situation where they're trying to fight for a playoff spot. If Joe Burrow and company do what they're supposed to do to win that game and get a playoff spot, we'll talk about, their grade at that point. Maybe I'll give them a few extra credit points for effort. But at day's end, I'm going to put them right at that B+ spot.
All right. Staying in the AFC North, the 5-4 Cleveland Browns.
The Browns really just don't pay attention in class like they need to. And I think it's affected some of their studies, right? They're too busy chatting with their friends like Colin Cowherd and things like that. See what I did there?
Yeah, I like that.
But at the end of the day, the loss to the Cardinals, the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Steelers, that's not necessarily a horrible schedule. The credit I'll give to them is that they are winning the games that they are supposed to win. And honestly, as somebody presiding over this classroom, EJ, the biggest frustration I have is if they didn't spend so much time chatting in class, maybe, just maybe, they would be a football team that's a threat to win this damn division. Right now, they're not. They're 2 games out of it. And that's significant when one considers that the Baltimore Ravens ain't no joke. That being said, it sounds like they're trying to move towards better behavior. They're not hanging out with one of the problem children in the class anymore, and Odell Beckham Jr. So there's an opportunity for improvement. I will give them a C+. But you could argue B, but I'll be honest, as the one presiding in this classroom, I'm just that disappointed and frustrated with these students, and I need to make a point to them so they can turn it around.
Especially a team that I think you and I both on the same page that we're a playoff lock.
Correct.
So I'm with you on that one. All right, the 6-2 Dallas Cowboys.
Wow, the Dallas Cowboys. You kind of figured because they're the rich kids and they have all sorts of tools and stuff at the house that a lot of the other kids don't have. that they, based on their unfair advantage, they would at least get so much work done. But here you go. They're doing little things here and there, and you can tell they're applying themselves. You can tell that they want to be better students and that they want to perform well in class most of the time. Unfortunately, not necessarily consistent every single solitary week, as we saw last week with that. But that being said, I'm afraid to mark them too low. I don't want to beat themselves up and do something like they may have done in earlier grades where they had struggles. So at the end of the day, I'm going to mark the Cowboys at a B. I really liked how they performed in some of the harder assignments like the Patriots and things like that, but I need them to show me more if they want to be an A, if they want to earn an A on their report card.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah. Listen, man, I get it.
Yeah. All right. Next one. The 5-4 Denver Broncos, the team that just beat the Cowboys this past Sunday.
As much as you heard me talk to other teachers in the other classrooms that we talk about on the Huddle Up podcast and things like that about how they're just not as good a student as everybody wants me to believe. The truth is, when I look at their grades and their marks throughout the season, they do pretty well, considering. Yeah, it's on a lot of the easier assignments, and when they're challenged, you kind of see that they don't do as hot. They kind of slacked off, realized that they weren't doing enough homework with 4 straight losses to a gauntlet of teams that was pretty tough, right? Ravens, Steelers, Raiders, Browns. But now that they're, back to pacing themselves a bit, with the football team, they beat the Red Tails. And when they study, they realize they can do well and beat a team like the Cowboys. So with all that in mind, I'm gonna put the Broncos at a B minus. I want to let them know they're doing well, but I want to let them know that they can still do better.
Here we go. This one, the 0-8 winless Detroit Lions.
Incomplete, right? And that's mostly because I'm afraid to hand an F to Man Campbell.
Yeah.
Like
Mama, there goes that man. Wait.
I'm in that place where I got to tell you, EJ, it makes me a little nervous. In Major League, there's a part where the lady goes, I didn't know they still had a team. That's where Detroit is getting to right now. You come in with Matt Patricia, still don't know why you fired Jim Caldwell back those years ago, but we won't get into that right now.
Yeah.
And they can't handle it now, and their schedule doesn't get all that much easier. Frankly, what they've shown me is that Man Campbell needs to spend a lot less time in the gym and hunting and fishing and more time in front of a dang textbook studying the assignments.
So incomplete, huh?
Oh, no, it's. I told you the real grade. I'm just afraid.
It's an F.
I didn't say it, sir.
I heard Detroit Lions fans called into the show.
Hey, fuck you, buddy.
I'm not your buddy, friend.
What's your friend, pal?
Not your pal, buddy.
All right, what's the next team here on the list? Let's go with the is it 6-2 now? Hold on, sorry about that. Yeah, 7-2. Sorry, 7-2. Green Bay Packers.
The Green Bay Packers. Yeah. It's unfortunate that in other classes, like apparently they were caught selling drugs in the lunchroom or something. But yeah, the Packers, they started out a little bit weird, and they've had some weird home situations going on, and but are still good students. I'm going to give them an A minus. I don't want to send the wrong message that when they apply themselves that they aren't good students. They just need to make sure that before they come to class again, that they have their heads in a good space and aren't listening to bad influences to tell them not to stay in school.
Yeah, stuff kind of weird.
Yeah, metaphor I spun.
No, I got that, but I was like, we're start to the year losing to the Saints on a neutral field after the whole thing with the hurricane, and then they've kind of sort of like, even though they won like a 6-game winning streak, they were still kind of, yeah, I like this team, but are they a Super Bowl contender? And then they won Arizona and did what they did. I'm with you. That is accurate. Let's see here. The 1-7 Houston Texans.
1-8.
1-8. Sorry, 1-8 Texans. 1-8. Apologize.
Yeah, no problem. And it's easily an F. I mean, when you're unable to bring your books to class every week, why aren't you just withdrawing from school? It's obviously you're not interested in bringing the materials to class, and from what I understand, it's a legal issue as to why they can't. So for now, you just need to disenroll from school and come back next year, repeat the grade, and see what you can do once you could actually bring your supplies to class.
So riddle me this, Kyle. You went ahead and confessed that the Texans are F. You couldn't just name the Lions. Why is that?
Because I'm not afraid of their head coach.
Oh.
like the Detroit Lions or that kid in class that like is everybody knows that they're the member of the gang, so you don't want to cross him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right. I get it. All right.
That's why I had you say it for me. So like afterward, you're the one that's going to get shoved in a locker.
Oh yeah, like Screech. Recipe Screech. All right, the 4-5 Indianapolis Colts.
Boy,
like
this has literally got to be the toughest grade of any of the students in question here, right? Like I mean, so first of all, it's hard to really grade this student because before the first day of school, I'm getting a call from their parents about how they have illness already in the house, right? Carson Wentz getting hurt, Quentin Nelson getting hurt, all of that. And yet, somehow or another, they're staying competitive-ish in the AFC for a playoff spot. I mean, them beating the 49ers convincingly was not only an emotional heartbreak in its own right, but, proof that they can play a tough team, And listen, their game against the Titans was super close. I'm not prepared to hold that against them. Their game against the Rams was super close. Their game against the Seahawks was competitive back when they still had Rusty. Heck, their first game against the Titans wasn't all that big a differential. The blatant Ravens are within a score. Listen, at some point, even in the classroom, Charlie, hustle matters. If I could see you're studying your hardest, and sometimes the results on the test don't necessarily go your way, I'm not inclined to penalize those students. I will give the Colts a C+.
I like that. All right, next team here, we have staying in the division, of course, the AFC South. We have the 2-6 Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's difficult with the Jacksonville Jaguars because, clearly going into the season, everybody knew they had a learning disability, right? This is their first year in a new school in a lot of ways because, you got a brand new head coach and a brand new quarterback coming in, and every week you see steady improvement, but they don't just quite you can tell that they aren't getting the grades on the tests, but the effort is there and you see the improvement. And while it's really easy to slap an F on them, they passed a really hard test this past week. And again, there were a lot of questions that they could have answered better, or a lot of things they could have done better in the assignment, only scoring 9 points. But man, their defense was so good, and they were so happy when they passed that test, EJ Christian. I'll tell you, it would be really demoralizing to just slap an F or a D on them with that. And I'm assuming they're going to keep in the right. I want to give them a high enough grade to inspire them to continue to study and have better grades. So I'll give them a C- for now. But if they start to pull back and they come away with fewer than those 5 or 6 wins, it will be impossible for them to give them a high grade.
I completely agree with you on this one because I think they've been, and not even just with some of the losses too, they've been trending up. I mean, now let's forget the Seattle loss a couple weeks ago, but other than that, they've been trending up the last couple month or so.
Yeah, that Seattle loss was difficult. I think it was a situation where they were just starting to get frustrated with how hard they were working and not getting the results they wanted. They just kind of burned that test, and I basically let them retake it in the form of this Bills game, and lo and behold.
Okay, here we go. This is probably should be one of the most fascinating teams here, and that is the 5-4 Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm just this team. Whenever they come to my desk to talk to me, EJ, I give them the most devastating thing that any teacher can tell a student. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. Okay. You told me you were going to do this and do that and impress me as a teacher, and you've done everything but that. You've come in with mediocrity when you were supposed to be the main kid on the block. And I'm going to show you that that's just not going to cut it. I'm not going to do anything drastic like give them a D plus or anything like that, but I am going to give them a C minus. Okay. You need to know you need to do better in class, especially with your schedule upcoming, featuring the Cowboys, the Bengals, and the Chargers one more time. Oh yeah, and the Raiders next week.
A lot of divisional games had that.
Raiders twice actually. Excuse me.
From this week, I'm surprised. I would have given them a D, honestly.
I don't want to demoralize him, EJ, as a student. A D is probably right, but I've seen Patrick LaVon Mahomes II admit that he's not had his best games, and honestly, I think Andrew Reid needs to make sure that he stops flinging it down the field and playing football on a more fundamental level. This is something that has happened in his past. If you remember Brian Westbrook being one of the most prolific pass catchers out of the backfield, and yet they couldn't convert a 4th and 1, right? So it's something where they need to find a way to get back to dink and dunks and shorter plays and pull people in so they can beat them over the top with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce.
Right. Okay, here we go. Staying in the AFC West, the 5-3 Las Vegas Raiders.
The Las Vegas Raiders. I misjudged this team based on their home situation. I really thought they would be a difficult set of students, and lo and behold, the quarterback playing the best football in the division is Derek Carr. Who had that? You didn't. There are just times where they've done something that's mind-boggling, like losing to the Bears or the Giants this past week. I sent a note home, but I know they're having rough times at home. With the whole Gruden situation, so I don't want to be too hard on them. I'll definitely give them a solid B.
No, I'm with you on that one. You get the Gruden thing, and then we have that, the Ruggs thing. Then you have another thing happened recently this week with the cornerback. First round pick got cut by the team for making threats, whatever maybe. So they've gone through a lot of internal stuff, but they still managed to still stay ahead of the curve for the most part.
Yeah.
I can cut for that. All right, staying in the division one more time, the AFC West, the 5-3 also Los Angeles Chargers.
The Los Angeles Chargers, I watched them from afar when they were in the previous grade level. Sorry. With the Chargers, they showed a lot of promise. And they were talking to me before the year, hey, student of the game, we're going to be great. And, then you barely beat the Washington football team. Then you get beaten by the Cowboys. Then you come out and beat the Chiefs, Raiders, and Browns in succession, showing me that you're a big deal. You get crushed by the Ravens, happens to everybody, and then Belichick comes into town. I don't know. I'm not in a place to punish Justin Herbert and company just yet, but I'm not prepared to give them an A either. I'm going to go solid B here, and see how they do with the test that is the rest of the season.
Let's stay in the city of LA, the Rams, 7-2.
Yeah. With the Rams, I'm going to lead with the grade on this here. I'm obviously going to give them an A. They did a very good job of picking the tools to help them succeed. The Stafford trade and all that. I love that they've acknowledged that they want to help Aaron Donald on defense do some things. And so they brought in Von Miller. That's fantastic to me. Obviously, the only real issue I have is they did not study well for their last test against the Titans, and that loss to me is unacceptable. But everything else on their schedule is fantastic. A all the way.
2 losses, 2 blowouts. Any concern? Cardinals and Titans.
No. Because those to me are just showing that little Shawnee McVay is not as smart as he thinks he is. You know,
another McVay shot. All right. Let's go to my local team here. That is the Miami Dolphins, who are 2-7.
yeah. This is one where I had to straight up have him go talk to the principal. These guys here, you're the Miami Dolphins. I was impressed early on that they beat the Patriots, but then again, should I have been? And then you talk about blowout losses. They actually got shut out one week by the Bills. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And just there are more L's here than I can find in several alphabets. Okay. And then you come back and beat the Texans. I'm supposed to be impressed. I'm going to go straight up F. This was supposed to be the end of the 5-year mission where they were supposed to explore strange new worlds, seek out new playoff games and new civilization, and boldly go where the Finns haven't been in half a century. And this ain't happening.
Yeah, with you on that one. All right, let's go with the now 3-5 Minnesota Vikings.
The Minnesota Vikings go to art class every day and are asked to paint something, and you always find them doing it with their fingers instead of the brush. Okay. The Vikings have not impressed me at all, and in big moments they continue to slink. You like that? See what you did there?
Yes, I did. There.
No, I'm just completely unimpressed. I'm going to go D+.
I'm with you. I think their coach is on hot seat, definitely.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't think he's the problem.
No,
I really don't.
Why is his name blank on me? I don't know why. It's too late in the night.
Oh, what, Mike Zimmer?
Yeah, there you go. Zims, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do that too. Just can say it. All right, next team here we have the 5-4. My favorite team, apparently, according to you. You know who they are.
Oh, the Patriots.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. Yeah. And listen, I understand. Riding your bike to school every day when the chain to the bike in question keeps breaking is just infuriating. And yet you come to class every day and give me your best effort, Patriots. You had all the drama surrounding Brady leaving, and now people are trying to say, throw SJW cards at you for not bringing Cam back, which is the single most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, by the way. Mm-hmm. And we're Cam fans on this show. We've established that, right?
That's right, baby. Come on. Since 2015.
I mean, it was time. And listen, at the end of the day, they started out struggling, but as the year went on, the Patriots have done some things. And I'll be honest, in their class, their earlier tests were probably a little tougher than it was fair to put in front of them on their desk. I'm going to go B-, mm-hmm. And I think they have an opportunity to still try to impress us here.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. All right, let's go with the 5-3 New Orleans Saints.
I don't know what to make of these students. Are you kidding me? These guys, 1 minute they come to class and they're ready to work, and you see something amazing happen. And then, they're in the level when they're very similar to those pesky Falcons. I got to make sure that they're not, looking off someone else's paper and that they're completely fraudulent. They had trouble beating a Geno Smith-led Seahawks team. They're sneaking by. Well, they were dominant against
Green Bay.
Not Green Bay. That you're talking to open the season.
Right.
Put that Green Bay, and then they're semi-dominant against the WFT, and then they beat the Buccaneers.
Right.
I have actually put in. I haven't told their parents this, but I've actually put in a request that the county look into their test scores and the scantrons related to those tests. I'm pretty sure there's signs of cheating and fraud there. As for their grade, that makes it very difficult to grade them at this point, Ernest. But I'm going to go. They're playoff competing, so I can't put them below a C, so that's where I'll put them.
Okay. Here we go.
You heard me stalling, right?
Right. Yeah. Now, my actual favorite team, the 3-6 New York Giants.
Golly, I don't even know why they come to class some days, because I know they're not really wanting or ready to participate.
Yeah.
Geez. What do you do with this in this particular case? I mean, if you're such a fan, why can't you give me answers?
Because I myself am confused. I will say this much: Daniel Jones, while the numbers have been great most of the year, he has done the one thing I asked him to do: stop turning the ball over.
Yeah, taking care of the football. I don't think anyone really feels like Daniel Jones is the dang problem.
Which also presents another question now about extensions and whatever. So.
Yeah, no, that's not a joke either. Excuse me. So I'll put it this way: like, some of their losses are completely acceptable. The Cowboys, the Rams, fine. I'm gonna say a C for now,
Okay.
because they're starting to kind of breathe life back in. Their past 3 games, they trounced the Panthers. They had a shot at beating Patrick Mahomes II and the Chiefs, and they beat the Raiders.
Yeah.
And I don't want to discourage improvement, by throwing them under the bus there. So I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm going to say C.
Okay. Let's stay in the same city, New York Jets, who are, I believe, 2-7 now.
I pulled them aside before the year even started, Ernest, and I'll tell you what. I told them not to play with kids like Zach Wilson, and they didn't listen. And so I feel like I'm compelled to have to penalize them a D for the Jets. I know the expectations were already low, and they're now just as bad, if not worse than that.
Are you a Mike White guy?
I'm not. The reason why I make it a big deal is because their self-inflicted wounds could potentially hurt their future. Like, if they're hoping to graduate and go to college one day, you don't do things like hang out with Zach Wilson as your quarterback. You've killed this season based on your draft, in my opinion.
All right. The 3-6 Philadelphia Eagles.
You gotta love how I'm sticking this analogy too, by the way.
No, you are. You're doing a great job. I see the fatigue a little bit now because, having to sell this shit.
No, it's fatigue because it's 11:22 at night, Ernest Christian.
That too. That's right. The Eagles, almost done.
Yeah, with the Eagles, listen, I see a lot of the other kids in class picking on them because of Jalen Hurts. And what I see as a student who's trying really hard and despite low expectations, comes to take every test every day. I'm not going to do anything ridiculous like give them a B. But I don't see games on their schedule that they've lost that I feel like they should have won, right? I think, we're probably going to get the Eagles tested for a learning disability. Maybe they're on the spectrum. Who knows? But at day's end, I don't want to demoralize them by giving them too low a grade too soon. If they're not, they're putting in the effort, I feel like I'm going to go with a C for the Eagles.
They've been frisky. I'll say that.
You and your damn frisky.
Hey now, frisky. All right, the 5-3 Pittsburgh Steelers stay in the state.
Wow. Like, I didn't know what to think of the Steelers going into the season. I was pretty sure that they were going to keep up the study habits that they've had in the past. But now that, we're learning with computers and iPads like that, some of those same techniques weren't going to work. And lo and behold, the Steelers come in and keep passing tests. They had to struggle a little bit and adjust to the classroom setting that we're in here in 2021. But Mike Tomlin proves once again why he's not going to the USC job. That poor reporter.
Arguably coach of the year right now, right? Arguably coach of the year?
I'll say candidate.
Okay, top 3, definitely.
I'll say candidate. But yeah, looking at the rest of the schedule, nothing tells me that they will do anything less than have a winning season. And what more do we ask of our students than that? They're going to make the playoffs with a quarterback situation that it is, and give credit to this coach for his versatility, man, and this team overall. I'm going to give him A-.
I like it. All right, next team here we have, here we go. Your San Francisco 49ers, who are 3-5.
They wanted to tell me that they belonged in the gifted program, and I warned them that there would be responsibility associated with that. I said, make sure you do everything right in the draft. And at least they listened to me from the standpoint that they did not draft Mac Jones. Would not have been a fit. However, they did not do enough, in my opinion, to boost their offense, and they keep wanting to use a pencil that breaks during every test in Jimmy Garoppolo. And then they do have Trey Lance, but then he got hurt. Some things they can control. Some things they can't control happened. And again, a bunch of hard tests. Like, listen to this murderers row of teams that they've lost to, right? Packers, Seahawks, still with Rusty, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Cards, Colts, and Cards. So losing to the Cardinals twice, is that a sin? I don't think so.
That's right. Yeah.
All they're showing me is that they were pushed to the gifted program too soon. And maybe, I should not have acquiesced that request. I was pretty sure that, they convinced me they can handle it, had me picking them as a playoff team, and they did not produce.
All right. The Seattle Seahawks, who I believe are 3-5 as well. Yep, 3-5.
Yeah. It's not been the same. Apparently, they had a falling out with one of their best friends, and they're just not doing so well in class. It's affecting their schoolwork. Obviously Rusty being hurt is a problem. And Pete Carroll has done absolutely nothing else to help this team out, right? This front office has not helped this team out. You've needed protection, you've needed weapons, you needed better defense for years, and you keep on doing anything to address that.
Russell or bust.
Yeah, Rusty or busty. And well, is this the part where you make a Sierra joke because I said busty? Anyways. I'm going to say C-.
Russell's back this week, so he can turn things around. And the NFC play picture is getting a little bit interesting now going forward. There's some room to improvement there. All right, here we go. The champs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 6-2.
They do what every student does when they think the work is starting to get easy. They slack off. Yeah. I mean, they came in being hot shots, thinking that they almost lost to the Cowboys. Let's put that where that is. And they did lose to the Rams, which isn't necessarily again. But what happened with the Saints is just unacceptable. They're still going to get an A, but if they keep up losses like the ones they have with the Saints, there's going to be a see me after class note on their test.
Almost lost to the Saints, to the Patriots also too. Doink on the crossbar.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, they came in after a dentist appointment, very rough, having to deal with going to see Coach Belichick again. It was definitely a toothache kind of a situation there.
Right. All right, the team with the best record in the AFC right now, currently, the Tennessee Titans, 7-2.
I don't know how they're doing it. They chat in class. All they want to do is seem to talk. But they still get their work done. And with what they're doing, winning convincingly with Derrick Henry gone, what that tells me is they've been studying harder than I thought. I thought they had given up basically on playing defense and were just going out to the mall instead. But it turns out at night afterwards, they stay up late and study hard for the tests, and it's paying off so far. So you got to give the Titans an A on this one, right?
Does it feel like that Jets loss was years ago now?
It really does, actually.
Yeah, because that was a narrative for a long time. Well, you lost the Jets though, but the more they win, it's like I don't know, man. That Jets game seemed like a long time ago.
And it's not just that they won that game; it's more of how they've won the games since, right?
Yeah. I mean, talking about coach of the year, maybe Mike Vrabel's looking at coach of the year.
I wouldn't rule it out.
Absolutely. And finally, the last team on our midterms here on Football's Awesome, part of the Streaming Podcast, of course, the Washington football team, who are currently 2-6, and also part of my bottom 5 of this week.
Yeah, the Red Tails are definitely getting a see me after class message here, man. I get it that your starting quarterback is out in Ryan Fitzpatrick, but at the end of the day, your starting quarterback was Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, guys, what the hell were you doing here? And even the easy games are difficult ones for the Washington football team. And then when they do compete, they shoot themselves in the foot. I'm going to give them a D, but only because of the trial and tribulation they've dealt with. And their expectations were low anyway. I think I had them winning 2 games all year. And they got a lot of problems at home. Getting notes in class have actually been a problem because apparently they're getting inappropriate notes from teachers and stuff. We're coming to find out based on the school board investigation.
Yeah, this is a team that made a playoff last year too.
Made the playoffs.
Right, I know, I get it. NFC East, we get it.
Least.
Right. Yeah. So that's this week. That's our midterms of this NFL season. Quickly, we're gonna react this quickly. Not gonna be a long one. The new college football player rankings are out. Number 1, still Georgia. Well, right now, just real quick touch on it. We have to do a deep dive on this one. Honestly, just go react to what they have. Number 1, Georgia. 2, Alabama. 3, Oregon. 4, Ohio State. 5, Cincinnati. 6 and 7, really. They showed a 7-2 also on ESPN. Michigan and Michigan State. So let's stand out to here based on this 7.
So when we saw the juggernaut that is Purdue beat Michigan State, we knew something silly was going to happen. But they still did their darndest to keep Cincinnati out, didn't they, Ernest Christian?
Yes, they did.
Ass. I still Oregon. I'll say it again. Oregon's one big win with a Stanford loss to an unranked team is Ohio State, whose most impressive win is what? A 5-3 team? I don't know. Now,
Penn State?
Committee, say again?
Penn State, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Right. Well, they were 5-3 last week. I don't know if they won this week or not. I'm assuming they did, so we'll say 6-3.
Doesn't matter anymore, so that should tell you right there.
Yeah, exactly. So, however, Purdue and Ohio State play this week. If Purdue wins, Ohio State should not only be out of the top 4, they should be unbleeding ranked. Okay? And if that happens...
Let's see it, but
it won't. I said should.
Yeah.
But either way, if that happens, in my belief, both teams would get bounced from the 4th based on the committee's own logic. Not that they won't move the goalposts.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then at that point, what do they do? That'll be interesting.
The only thing that stuff me real quick, though, and nothing to do with the top, I'm not surprised at their top 5, honestly. That surprised me what they did. I think they're wrong. I mean, since he should be number 3, and, obviously. But I'm surprised Michigan and Michigan State 6 and 7, respectively, despite Michigan State beating Michigan 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think that's asinine too, but what I believe the logic is Michigan outplayed them, but Michigan State had more points.
But then why were we playing games together? If you're not going to count the heads, then what are we doing here?
Well, I mean, we're talking about, why we play the games. I mean, hell, we had that at 1 through 4, but your head-to-head point, sir, is made very nicely there.
Just saying. That's the only thing that's not to me, the 6 and 7. But again, I think that works out because they all play each other. Michigan played Ohio State later in the year. And so that now works out there. Another narrative, too, also, Oklahoma is still getting dinged. I mean, they had a bye this week, obviously, so they can't really do anything to change anything. But they're not getting, despite the shakeup on top with Michigan State losing, Oklahoma's still stuck in number 8.
And I think the only reason you did get that, Ernest Christian, is because they had a bye.
Yeah, and I also think the committee's going to wait to see what happens this weekend against Baylor.
Yeah, but here's what it is. Baylor has 2 losses. That's going to be damn interesting.
Yes.
Here's the shot I'm going to call right here. Either Baylor's going to drop, or both teams are going to drop. I don't think Oklahoma's in a position, unless one of the teams ahead of it loses or something really silly there happens. I don't think Oklahoma's in any position to gain ground yet.
Then again, though, last week we all said that the top 7, 8 teams all playing this week should go chalk, and yet that did not happen.
We did not account for the juggernaut that is Purdue.
Yeah, Purdue spoiled some shit. Wake Forest, obviously not part of the top 10 discussion, but they lost to they were number 10 actually in the rankings last week. They lost to was it North Carolina. So we've been saying this. It's sugar chalk, but this has been a wonky year in college football, and I don't know. Yeah. And so I wouldn't rule anything out at this point. Although I do expect it to go chalk this week at least in the top 6 or 7, it should go chalk. But 8 too. I mean, Baylor might pull upset, so we'll see what happens. But who knows? So anyway,
I see a lack of faith in Jim's Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
I think they're getting a little dinged up. I think they're getting a little judged here. I think it should be a little higher on the list, honestly, quite frankly.
I don't. What's their signature win?
Oh, that's true.
At this point, you know who it is? Mighty Purdue.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens, though. I mean, there's still another month of football ahead of us, and a lot of upsets that could happen, as we've seen this year. I mean, if the trend stays the way it is, then we should see more upsets. So we're going to go and plug what you got, man.
Yeah, so for the first time on this show, of course, I'm Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. Here's the first timer thing. Find me covering UCF basketball, men's and women's, at the Black and Gold Banneret. It's blackandgoldbanneret.com. And, of course, check out my work with UCF football on threepointconversion.com. And, of course, I'll be covering bowl games with them as well come December. And then check out my work with podcasts and movies, checking if things should be considered required reading with Hilarity by Default. My friend Demosthenes Euclid on the Hilarity by Default YouTube channel. And check out my work with oldschool101.com's A7BN Sports and the Captain and Company morning show with my friend Captain Chris Hill. Oh, yeah. And don't forget the Huddle Up podcast. I'm a special contributor.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Kyle, it's a pleasure. Get some rest and see the wear and tear today.
Yeah. But today, past 4 days, man, listen. UCF Basketball Media Day Thursday. Friday, I was processing all that. And then Saturday was UCF football. Sunday was a Jags game. Monday was the presser with Gus Malzahn. And tonight was me finishing all those writings. And the only reason why I wasn't at the women's basketball game covering their opener at UCF was because I had to be a family man and look after my baby boy.
Gotta do it.
But you'll see me at Edition Financial Arena tomorrow night. My debut as I cover the debut of the men's team as they cover Robert Morris at Edition Financial Arena.
All right. We'll talk soon. Until next week, as always.
All right, man. Take care, brother. Until next time, everyone. Class dismissed.
All right. Degenerate week number 10 with Zach. Zach Degenerate.
What's up?
So I won this week.
I think we're having audio issues. I can't hear you. What?
You're lying. You liar. No, I actually won this week on a runaway. So now you maintain a 4-3 lead, I think it is for the year.
Yeah.
So, but this week, as I said earlier in the podcast, with Mike and Kyle, that this has been a very strange week in general. I mean, it was just like every good team lost, and I don't know if you saw my rankings yet, but I moved Green Bay up despite losing because they were the only team that lost in the top 6 that was actually a good loss.
Man, I was just happy to see you slightly corrected the Dallas. I mean, they need to be a little lower, but you had them at 2 last week. You were going crazy on that train.
It's so bad because, literally when I start really publicly giving them love like that, they fuck me literally days later. Can you give me at least 2 weeks?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so week 10 on the way. Let's get the picks, shall we? As we discuss some on the picks too. All right, first game here. If I can just bring this up real quick. There we go. Thursday night game between the Baltimore Ravens heading to Miami to face the Dolphins. The Ravens are 7.5-point favorites. The over/under is 46.5. Miami won a forgettable game against Houston. Baltimore another eked out win. Seems to be the trend of most of the year for the Ravens. I'm not. You asked me the Ravens are Super Bowl contender. I'm saying no. But the reason why they're playing as well as they are is because of Lamar Jackson, and it's Lamar a bust.
It absolutely is. every week he loses a guy for the season.
Yeah.
Their defense, they're not even trying at times out there. They're like, well, we know we got Lamar Jackson. We'll just try and come from behind.
Yep. I'll be honest with you. I like Miami here on the points.
I would never be able to say that. Never. I'll take Baltimore. I'm actually shocked the line isn't still higher than it is now.
Because you might get a Miami team that decides to, you know what, let's play hard. Let's just decide to show up.
We saw how hard they play, and they barely beat Houston with Tyrod Taylor.
No, with Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor's quite
He's been that good, okay?
He's been all right. He's had some moments.
I know if I'm a rookie, I want him to be opening the season for me because I know I'll be starting.
Yeah. All right, here we go. The Sunday games here. We got the Atlanta Falcons heading to Dallas to face the Cowboys. Like I said, the Cowboys are 9-point favorites to over under 55.5. Cowboys let me down this week, man.
They shouldn't have shocked you, okay? Now, I would never have expected it from Denver to just blow them out to midway through the fourth quarter, but
right.
I mean,
they
were overconfident. They were thinking, okay, well, we can beat Minnesota, which is nothing when it's Kirk Cousins on primetime, and maybe by the time he retires, you'll understand that. But Dallas hasn't really beaten anybody. So they went in there feeling way overconfident. And when you look past an opponent, we're seeing it time and again this year. It doesn't matter how crappy the opponent is, they will beat you.
So let me be clear here. From a gambling perspective, I was correct on this. I did have Denver by plus 10 last week.
Yes, you did.
Okay, I didn't think they'd lose a fucking game. I didn't think Dallas would come out and just like not really show up. That score is not as close to that game really was. That game was done from word go. That being said, I still think they will bounce back.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! I'm with you too. Now that they took an embarrassing loss like that, I'm sure everyone's going to want to show up. And so I'll take Dallas to cover.
I'm with you. All right, next game.
We have the New Orleans Saints heading to Tennessee to face the Titans. The Titans are 3-point favorites. The over-under is 44.5. The Titans, once again, winning and not having Derrick Henry. Still won.
Yeah. And for Adrian Peterson to come off the shelf like that, he looked really good his first few touches. Now, do I expect them to try and lean on him? No. They're going to try and lean on A.J. Brown all season.
Yeah.
Or at least the rest of the way.
Right.
So
basically, it's a 10-hole bust at this point.
But their pass rush is starting to look unbelievable.
Yeah.
A guy who during his rookie campaign, Harold Landry looked like he might be a bust as a first rounder. He is looking tremendous now. And Simmons, dude, is he the best safety in the league right now?
Maybe. Well, New Orleans had a tough loss against Atlanta. Albeit they were down most of the game. They came back, took a late lead, and Atlanta, of course, game-winning field goal. Saints, I mean, I don't know. Do the Saints, can they survive with their quarterback staff now?
No. Not with Trevor Siemian. No.
This is why I said I couldn't lock up as a playoff team with Kyle last week. We were doing our playoff locks a couple weeks ago. I was like, I'm not ready to go there yet. They may get in by default because the rest of the NFC is bad outside the top of the division winners and maybe one of the Rams/Cardinals loser. But other than that, the rest of the NFC in the bottom it's really bad. So they may get in by default. They may just need only 3 more wins to get in the playoffs. The way it's looking.
That may be true, but this isn't going to be a game where they get a win.
Yeah,
I just do not believe New Orleans is that good. Now, Sean Payton, he's proven he is a Coach of the Year candidate every year. And maybe it was partly the system that had to do with why they were so good for so long, because Drew Brees fell apart at the end. He couldn't throw 10 yards down a football field. So it's a great system, but with Trevor Siemian running it, you're not going to win.
I got the under in this game.
I want to take the under, but I'm gonna go with the favorite.
Tennessee's rolling.
Yeah.
Maybe you look at Vrabel coach of the year now too. Also, maybe. All right, next game here. Staying in the division, of course, the Jacksonville Jaguars heading to Indianapolis face the Colts. The Colts right now are 10.5-point favorites. The over/under is 47.5. So, raise your hand if you had the Jaguars beating the Bills.
I thought that was going to be the easiest game of the weekend.
I want points.
Oh, my God.
If I'm I was telling Mike this earlier in the podcast. If I'm Buffalo, I'd rather have gotten blown out.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, your defense was putting their heart and their soul out there.
Yeah.
And the offense just shit the bed.
Yeah. Indy's hanging around. The AFC play picture is a little bit discombobulated. We'll get to a couple teams here in a second. But Indy's starting to, they beat the Jets last week on Thursday football. They're starting to figure it out a little bit. But Jaguars have been playing good football for the last couple of weeks now. I'm going to go Jaguars in the points here, honestly. I'm not sure they win the game, but I'm going to go plus 10.5 on the Jaguars here.
And on the other way, I'm thinking a good bounce back by the Colts defense and Wentz in particular, not making boneheaded plays. I will take the Colts to cover.
Okay. All right. Another opposite here. Here we go. All right. This is a huge game, actually, for playoff implications going forward. The Cleveland Browns heading to New England to face the Patriots. The Pats are 1.5-point favorites. The over/under is 45 points. It's amazing how, it's been a couple of days, you lose Odell Beckham, let him go to pasture, and then this team seems to figure it out. I guess a Bengals team we thought was pretty good.
Oh, yeah. I would not have thought with everything going on that offense, they would even be able to muster any points. But Burrow just collapsed.
Yeah.
From that pick six to early in the first quarter, you knew it was going to be a bad game for Burrow. And once the defense started to feel that way, they just beasted.
Yeah.
It was a turnover game that won them, nothing else.
Right. Meanwhile, the Patriots, all of a sudden, 5-4, all of a sudden in the playoff race and, some quality wins here and there. They could be easily 7-2, maybe 8-1. You look at some of the games they've lost this year.
You're right. And if I was positive on the Patriots, I'd be pointing out the fact that when we did our over-unders on the season, I said they would probably have a chance of winning the division.
I had them as a playoff team myself, so we're both on the same track there. I'm taking the under this one, though. This is a huge game. I think both defenses play hard here.
Yeah, and I agree with you in that aspect, because until the Browns start to show me they can score, I'm not going to take them to cover a game.
Yeah, I'm with you. And, I'm with you on that one, because I think that's the one thing we need to – I think that separates them from being a good to great team. If they can start scoring points on the board with Mayfield, then I can see this team really being – because right now, with the way now, there's – the top of the AFC is what it's taking right now, because you have – best record in the AFC is the Titans, but they don't have Derrick Henry. Buffalo Bills are the next probably the best team in the AFC probably, and they've been struggling. They don't have a quality winner either. So the AFC is really wide open across the board, if you think about it.
Oh, absolutely. But if it weren't for injuries, I would be putting all my money on Baltimore this season. The way in which everything's shaken out, had it not been for the injuries, I would feel so good.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that one. All right, next game here, we have the Buffalo Bills heading to New York to face the Jets. The Bills, despite losing with a big spread advantage last week, are still a 13-point favorite. Over-under is 47.5. I think they'll bounce back here. 13 points is a lot of fucking points, though, against the divisional opponent. I'm going to take the under in this one, actually.
No. I feel like in a divisional game like this, Buffalo's going to show out. And if they're playing against Zach Wilson, it's going to be a super easy game for them to cover. Now, if they go against Mike White, Jets are going to be scoring some points.
Oh, you're on the Mike White bandwagon now, huh?
I'm not a Mike White bandwagon. I told you what they did was messed up, bringing in his trainer. But I'm gonna take the Bills to cover.
So you think they cover this one?
Yeah, because I feel like they're gonna play Zach Wilson this weekend.
Okay. If that's the case, then maybe we could be right there. All right, next game here we have the Detroit Lions, the winless Lions heading to Pittsburgh face the Steelers. The Steelers are 9-point favorites. The over-under is 42.5. All right, Lions unbeaten, not unbeaten. Still winless. The Steelers 5-3. Hasn't been pretty. But 5-3 is 5-3, man. And in that, I just said a little while ago, the AFC it seems across the board wide open.
Absolutely. When I was going down the standings earlier, I was like, Jesus, there's just two bad teams in the AFC. Houston and Jacksonville. And a third, the Jets. But other than
It's definitely good football, though.
500. Like,
right.
Everybody's 5-3, 5-4 on the season now.
Yeah.
The AFC. There is nothing when you look at it in comparison to the NFC, and you're like, okay, Dallas has been in this division. I see the Rams. The Rams, they're probably going to win the division. And if they don't, they're at least going to the playoffs. Green Bay's got their division on lockdown. Mm-hmm. So it's just so different than the AFC.
Yeah. I think the Steelers win this one going away, actually. I think it's the first game they'll actually win going away like this. I mean, I think the Lions will quit.
And I'm thinking with all the craziness, I'm going to take the Lions plus the points.
Okay.
Look, we've had 2 crazy weeks. Isn't it about time for a winless team to get a win and a Thursday night short week?
Well, wait, is it the Thursday game? It's a Sunday.
Oh, is it a Sunday? Damn.
Yeah. No, the Thursday game I think is Baltimore. Yeah. No, I wish it was Thursday game. Could be wasted.
Right.
But
let's push that to the under then.
Okay. Next game here.
It's Thursday night for some reason.
Yeah. No. Unless they changed it. I thought they changed it. I thought they'll change it though. Next game here, Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading to Washington to face the football team. The Bucs are 10-point favorites over your former Redskins. Over-under is 51.5. Bucs off a bye. All the chaos that happened around them, the top-tier teams in the NFL, and they seem to, they didn't play this week. So obviously they avoided, although they had their bad loss last week to New Orleans. I kind of like the over here, though. I think Washington bounces back here a little bit.
What?
I'm not saying they'll win the game. I'm just saying it'll be a bounce back. They'll play better this week.
This line should be like 14 or 15. That's how bad Washington is.
You're too close to the team to make it accessible, make a more accurate guess on this one here. Give me over. Let's go.
Yeah, give me Tampa. Give me something.
Minus 10 on the road?
Yes, I need a win. I feel like this is an easy win for me.
Oh, wow. Okay. Next game here. The Carolina Panthers head to Arizona face the Cardinals. The Cardinals are 10-point favorites. The over-under is 44.5. Cardinals, nice win this week. Without the quarterback, without the receiver, against a divisional opponent. I mean, the Niners aren't good, but it's still frisky, and they still won the game going away.
Yeah, no. I think you're right about Arizona probably being a candidate for the number 1 seed now. We were talking about it last week and everything, and still didn't want. I hate their coach. I don't think they have a good enough of a run game, but Arizona's just been great all season.
Many cards here. 10 points will cover.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
All right. Next game here, Minnesota Vikings heading to L.A. to face the Chargers. The Chargers are 2.5-point favorites. The over-under is 52. Vikings just shooting something in the foot every time. I mean, it's just, is what it is. I think we're seeing the end of their coach there. Too many bad losses.
Too many bad losses, but you don't give them a quarterback good enough to win with. And when they had a great defense, they let it age and they let it get away.
Yeah.
Imagine if they pulled a move like Tampa Bay and brought in a real winning quarterback instead of giving Kirk Cousins, who can't win on prime time,
your boy,
$30 million a year.
Your boy. Chargers win in Philadelphia. I wasn't too impressed with it, but a win's a win. I think the Chargers come down to earth now. They're not a Super Bowl team. They're definitely a playoff team, not a Super Bowl team, though.
Yeah, and with Minnesota's defense, I think the over is an easier bet here.
I'm going to take Chargers here in 2.5, minus 2.5 here.
All right.
Although they could let us down. They could let me down easy. So.
They've let me down this season.
Oh, yeah, after a good start, yeah, especially. All right, next game here we have the Philadelphia 76ers. Philadelphia Eagles heading to Denver to face the Broncos. The Broncos are 2.5-point favorites. The over-under is 44.5. Broncos, we said, big win over Dallas this week. I don't know what this. I mean, I got Denver to win this game straight up, and I think they'll cover. Just because of the home field advantage. But I don't know. That's all I got for you. This game is a snoozer.
I'm going to take it more as like a college aspect.
Okay.
And say what happened this past weekend for Denver is probably going to lead to a letdown this weekend. And I'll take the Eagles.
That wouldn't surprise me. That would cross my mind, actually.
Hurts has managed to keep most games close, if not pull it out at the end. So
yeah, they've played better than expected.
The record shows.
Yes, they outside maybe 1 or 2 games they really got blown out. I don't even think that happened. I mean, they lost to KC, but that was a close game. How many actual bad losses they have this year? Actual bad losses. The Dallas game was, I guess, was a bad loss, really. But other than that, they didn't have a lot of bad losses this year.
No.
All right, I saved this for enough time for this game here, so I want you to go off. Seattle Seahawks heading to Green Bay face the Packers. The Packers are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under is 50 points. Just got a report here that Aaron Rodgers small chance he may not play this week either. Russell Wilson, however, is clear to play. Let's go Aaron Rodgers first. Aaron Rodgers, because when we did this podcast last week, it didn't come out. He had COVID at the time. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, I mean,
I just hope he gets suspended. And when you have players on your own team who have lost family members to COVID, and you decide to play the word game with immunized instead of being vaccinated, give me a break. I would love to hear a story about when he comes into the locker room, he gets punched in his face. I just would. All right. He is thought, I think everyone can agree that he's thought of himself as above everybody. And you consider him the greatest quarterback ever as far as talent.
He's the most talented quarterback ever. I still stand by it.
No, he is not. And see, because of that, you give him the right to think he can do whatever he wants, and he's above everybody.
You're blaming me for this?
Blaming everybody that says, you're the most talented quarterback ever. You're the greatest. You've been to one Super Bowl and went in an NFC that has sent someone different practically every freaking year since he's been in the league. All right? You're not that special. You have to obey the same rules everyone else on your team does. That's how it is.
No, what you said is correct, though, in terms of not in terms of the talented part. I mean, that's two separate arguments. But here's where I'm lost in this whole thing with him. Why lie? Like, I don't get why did you lie for? What? That's where I'm lost in the whole thing. Why did you lie?
Because he's a coward who wanted to be able to get away without obeying all the protocols.
I'm saying Carson Wentz said, I'm not taking the vaccine. He'd be following protocols. You know what I'm saying? Kirk Cousins, I'm not taking the vaccine. Follow protocols.
Yeah.
I just don't get why you have to lie.
Because he cares about his image. Right? That's the honest answer.
But that's what I'm saying. But most people are on the side of taking the vaccine. Most people are on the side of taking the vaccine. If it were about the image, then the play is to say you got vaccinated, not lie about it,
or say you didn't, and be upfront.
Right. So I don't see the logic there. That's where I'm lost in the whole argument. It's not so much that he didn't take. Look, like I said, you don't have to take the fucking vaccine. I don't care. That's up to you. But for me to lie about it, I just don't get it. That, to me, where's the value in that? That's where I was lost in the whole thing.
Yeah, my thing is you were trying to lie to teammates. You played a word game because you wanted to say, oh, some teammates want to stay unvaccinated, but I got immunized.
Right. It's a wordplay game at this point.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have the under in this game. Russ Wilson's back. I don't know how to take it because if Rodgers doesn't play this game either, I mean, then Seattle has an opening there. So I'll say Green Bay had the best loss of the week, though. They actually moved up my rankings despite losing this week. If you can believe that.
That's because you will think Aaron Rodgers is the most talented quarterback.
That goes without saying. But they had the best loss of the weekend.
Okay.
So they should have. Rodgers plays the game against Kansas City. They probably win that game.
Yeah, probably. But he's too selfish.
Yeah. I got the under. What you got?
I'm going to agree with you. Now that you're telling me that Aaron Rodgers may not play again, yeah, I'm definitely going to take the under.
It's a small possibility, it says. Small possibility. So.
Yeah. I'm going to stick with being scared now and just take the under.
Right. Okay, here you go. Huge game here, Sunday Night Football. The Kansas City Chiefs heading to Las Vegas to face the Raiders. The Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites. The over-under is 51.5. Dude, the Chiefs, I mean, they're 5-4. So the record, they won 2 in a row. The record shows that they're 5-4 and trending up somewhat. But the optics don't look good.
No. Dude, and their defense is just atrocious. And I almost feel like Pat Mahomes is trying to feed Hardman more than he should be feeding Tyreek Hill. He's not using Kelsey enough, but I think the real story is going to be Oakland. Now they've had a full week since the Ruggs drama. I think they'll be able to focus a little more.
Well, they lost the game to the Giants this past week.
Yeah. And you know it's going to be hard. That's the thing. The Giants are celebrating a win when they literally playing a team that just had to cut their top wide receiver that killed a person. Like, let's not be real about the Raiders being completely focused for that game.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Maybe this is me going my gut here. I think Casey bounces back and they win this game and they cover.
Yeah, I want to have the guts to just say Oakland's going to win, but I'm going to take the over in the game.
Okay. 51.5. Okay. And finally, Monday Night Football, we have the LA Rams heading to San Francisco face the Niners. The Rams are 4-point favorites. The over-under is 50. Bad loss of the Rams on Sunday night. Bad loss. You can't lose.
Oh, man.
Oof.
What are you even doing when you're getting tackled in the end zone trying to throw towards a group of players? Because that's what you were doing. You were throwing towards the line of scrimmage to where all your linemen were, and, oh, by the way, a bunch of defenders.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was Lion Stafford all over.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely. I mean, and again, does this change my way I look at the Rams for the title picture? No, it doesn't. But because teams, even good teams get like an anomaly or two. But it's definitely you're playing Tennessee. You have a chance to to stay on pace with number 1 seed because the Cardinals lost last week and all that. But remember, you really don't have the tiebreaker because you lost the Cardinals head to head, and you lose that game. So I mean, it's just bad optics. Come on this week. That being said, I am taking the under in this game.
I'm taking the Rams. And I feel bad for Jimmy G. All right. This is going to be the first game with Aaron Donald and Von Miller. You know how excited those two guys will be to play? Oh, poor Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he lasts a half. It's going to be ugly, I think.
It could be.
Give me the Rams to cover. I think it's a beatdown.
Okay, I can see that. All right, and this week's buys are the following: Chicago Bears, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Houston Texans, and the New York Giants. Of this 4, which team benefits from the buy the most right now?
Cincinnati, easy.
Oh yeah, I agree. 100%.
2 weeks ago, you were leading the division. People were like, "They're back. Could this be the next best team in the AFC?" And then you lose to the Jets. And then you lose this past weekend.
And get blown out this past weekend too.
Yeah. And your quarterback has looked like shit.
He's better than that.
So, it's got to be Cincy.
I agree with you 100%. Quick FSU minute. No loss. Wah.
Yeah. I'd like to flip my FSU minute to asking about your Heat last night.
Yeah, go ahead. Wait, real quick. It is also FSU week. For the record.
Oh, yeah.
Again, another year with no one gives a shit. It's so sad because this is my favorite rivalry in all of sports. And nobody gives a shit.
So I ran into a Florida State fan who I had not seen since Xavier Lee was playing at Tallahassee. So I'm going to take a ghost from the past as a sign Florida State's going to win. All right. That I'm looking at straws. I can't pray because, well, there is nobody upstairs for me. So,
confession time.
So I'm just going to say, I'm going to take that as the biggest sign all year that Florida State's going to win. I
gotta hope so. If I at least got this game this year, I'm happy. You can lose every other game you want to. Well, Florida, beat Florida too.
And if Miami loses, I think Miami might be firing their coach.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have that this week. FSU, Miami this week. You were saying something before we go. I got literally 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Miami and Denver, NBA basketball. Yeah. What's up?
Jokic in the right at all?
In the right for reacting? Yes. Absolutely. Okay. Without question. I mean, I'm guessing Heat fans like, oh, well, what the hell? Like, dude, that doesn't get that far if Morris doesn't do what he did. Sorry.
Yeah, because, I mean, what was the point at that point? You guys were being blown out. The game's over, and you're doing a cheap shot foul coming up the court.
Right.
Why don't you want to get off that court as fast as possible? Because
I agree.
You got no chance at coming back.
And look, as a Heat fan, I understand, Jimmy Butler getting all fired up and wanting to, I get all that.
Tough guy, Jimmy.
You don't think he's tough guy? You don't think he's tough?
No, I think he always stands still when he's talking shit to people.
No,
he's not charging at guys, getting in their face. He's standing out there way back, waiting for hey, ref, come on, move me off the court.
No, look, it is what it is. Look, Jokic, what he did was wrong too. But, but at the same time, we don't get that moment if Morris doesn't start the moment. Morris chose violence.
Yeah.
And Heat fans give me shit for that. Like, are you Heat fan? I go, yeah. But I'm also not going to be illogical about it either. Come on now.
I think Morris hurt himself more by trying to flop on that. I mean, I know it was a hit, but damn, you're 6'10", 250 pounds. Like, you're going to go flying 10 feet in the air?
It looked worse than I thought. Maybe it was bad. I don't know. I'm going to say he was faking it or not, but if he was faking it, he fucking played that shit to a T. So, anyway, good luck with your picks this week as I make my comeback, and hopefully I win this week and we tie it up.
Good luck.
All right, buddy. Take it easy, all right?
Later.